Bootstrap provides a grid system. So I think this is one of the more important aspects of Bootstrap, right? Allowing you to provide a way of laying out content in rows and columns, right? That you would otherwise have to do it yourself. Uh, Now, the way we took a look at it was that we would define rows, right? And inside of those rows, we could have we could define columns, yes, right? But Bootstrap goes a little further than that, right? It says that a layout that looks just fine in a big screen, where maybe it's okay to have maybe five, four, five, six different columns, which is perfectly fine in landscape. The smaller you get, right, the smaller the screen, the less makes sense to have that many columns. Yes, right. So maybe in a big landscape, it's fine to have six columns. But as it becomes smaller and smaller, you should have a mechanism that allows you to say, well, you know what? Maybe in a smaller screen, I don't want six columns. Maybe I want four. Yes. And if it gets smaller and smaller, maybe I only want two. Or in the absolutely smallest screen, I don't want any columns. Right. I just want one big column that I can scroll up and down. So Bootstrap allows you to provide this mechanism by using what are called media queries. So media queries is a early on technology that has been around for quite a while, even before the mobile phone. Even when HTML just came about very early, even before we had these small screens. So media queries allow you to tell the browser that, hey, on this media type, I want to render one way, but in this other media type, I want to render another way. For instance, in the screen, maybe it's okay to have lots of images and lots of lots of advertisement and animations and whatnot. But when you're going to print something to the printer, you say, well, maybe I want to get rid of it and make it printer friendly, right? And maybe hide a couple of content, remove my sidebar, remove my footer, remove my header, right? And make it printer friendly. Maybe I want to use a different font. Maybe I want to use a different thing. So media queries allow you to do that. It says, hey, in this media, use this CSS style, but in this other media use a different set of style sheets. You can say, you can make all these kinds of rules. You can say, depending on the size of the screen, I could say, use this CSS style sheet, but in a different style, if a different size of the screen, use this other different style sheet. Yes. So what Bootstrap does is that it allows you to declare columns, right? All these columns, column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. It allows you to configure them to behave differently in different size screens. Yes, if you'll notice, right, you can configure it such that not only is there a column 1, right? We already saw how these works, right? Not only do we have column 1, right, but we actually have other ones that are column SM1, right? That SM allows you to be a little more specific. If you say column 1, you mean you want always column 1, regardless of the size of the screen, right? Which sometimes might make no sense. Imagine having 12 columns. Maybe in landscape might make sense, right? Where you have 12 columns, but when you make it tiny, 12 columns is an overkill. You can't even see what the column is. Yes? So maybe what you might want to do is say, I want this to be column 1, but only in the large screens, right? And as it starts getting smaller, right, I might not want to be a column 1. Make sense? So the way this is read is that this will apply, this column 1 will apply, meaning that this is 8% only on small screens and above. Excuse me. And there's a whole bunch of them. This column large 1. This means that it's 8% on large screens and above. Right? Actually, no, large screens is the largest. So it's for anything above 1400 pixels or something. Yes. So it allows you to specify. This is the rule for large screens. And so what Bootstrap does is that it declares all these media examples, right? That says for large desktops, LG, right, for screens that are bigger than 1200 and above, and it declares that medium are screens that are 992 and above, or 768 and above, and so on and so forth, right? So it declares all these different columns declarations depending on these sizes. In their documentation, this is the way they document it. So column large, column medium, column small, column XS, right? They only apply for that size screen and above, okay? So so here's an example of having declared a particular row with all column ones. And this only applies for medium screens and above. That means for medium screens and below, they go back to their original behavior, the original behavior of divs, right? And the original behavior of divs is what? Is take up the entire width of the screen, right? And just push everything down, right? But if the screen is big enough, then become 12 pixels. But below that, just become just normal divs, right? So in this example over here, so on the large screens, right, this would be split into 12 equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be there 12. So in the large screens, right, these would all be styled with column medium 1. Yes, and medium 1 we saw earlier. Medium means 970 pixels wide and above. So if this is at least 970 pixels, then yes, these styles will apply. Yes, but if I go below 970 pixels, this style will not apply, right? And they will become what normal divs are, right? So this will become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way 12 divs, taking up the entire width of the screen, right? Vertically. Make sense? That makes sense, right? So yeah, so all these rules are for whatever that styling is and above, right? All right, let's do the quiz.